Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, coming into this episode, it was interesting to say the least. There was a couple of things that did kind of annoy me a little bit. A couple of characters. Well, one in particular character that kind of annoyed me a little bit. So let's get into it. And let's start with Ben and Sierra. Sierra. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but she has this very nagging, whiny kind of attitude. And I get that her friend is in trouble and that they should do something, but like, being hysterical doesn't work out for anyone. Ever. And so, Sierra's like, oh, well, we need to sit there and call the cops. We need to sit there and call Dave. We need to sit there and talk to Hope. And, Ben is like, yo, listen, no cops. They'll kill her. No cops. They said no cops. I got my feelers out there looking. I got my people, whatever. Apparently he has people that can look for other people, whatever. He was like, I know people. They're looking for him. We'll get something. We'll get answers soon. We'll get her back. Apparently they got 24 hours. So, time should be pretty interesting in the show. Anyway, she's like, oh, well, let's get John, let's get Steve, let's get the NSA. It was like, no, law enforcement, no. And so Ben is like, listen, what we should do is we should go to work. And, if we hear something, we'll go from there. Now, I'm not gonna lie, part of me is sitting there like, part of me is just like, all right, listen, maybe he's just more the calm, collective type. We're not gonna do any good to anyone by just like freaking out and losing our jobs. Or we're trying to find her, and we can't get in law enforcement, so we'll wait till after work and we'll come up with something. On the other hand, just not to say, yeah, we know that she's kidnapped, but bills still got to get paid. So I'm kind of like mixed about his reaction. Anyway, I guess he must have said something to settle Sierra down, and so they get ready to leave, and I guess they run into Hope and Sean. I guess Sean is her brother, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, Claire may be getting released. And so now Hope, now Sierra got this look on her face. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, they are talking. Hope and Sean are talking. And they're talking about, the possibility of Claire getting released. And, Hope is all like, oh, I don't know. Because, last time what she did to Sierra, this, that, and third. And she's very hesitant, okay? This whole time that she's sitting there talking to Sean, she's very hesitant about her being released. But what happened to her daughter? She tried to burn her daughter alive. I can understand where she's coming from. So they go back and forth for whatever. And Sean is like, well, how would you feel if she's released? And before she says anything, Sarah walks in and Sarah's like, so I heard you brought my name up and I want to know what the hell's going on. Sean is dodgy and everything like that. He doesn't really say much. And then he gets a phone call, Saved by the Bell, and he leaves. So they talk to Hope, and that's when Hope is like, listen, Claire may be released. How would you feel about that? At first, Sierra's like, she's kind of like, doesn't really say anything, but then she's like, well, if Ben can sit there and turn his life around, then so can Claire. And I really miss Claire, and I really miss having my best friend, and we may not be we were before, but, I have my best friend back. I think she said something along the lines of that she put her boyfriend first. And I hate to sit there and say that, but, like, she said in her own words that she was one of the type of people that kind of, like, put boys ahead of her friendship. So, which is why she doesn't really, I think, have a lot of friends that she can get for maid her honors or whatever. Anyway, she's like, listen, if you could turn your life around, then Claire can probably turn her life around too. And yeah, that pretty much kind of ends their scene. They get a hug or whatever, and then they pretty much go to work. Well, Ben leaves, and at first, Hope is like, well, is there something else that's going on with you? Because the way that Sierra is talking, it's like she's hiding something. She's like, yeah, well, I'm fine or whatever. I'm just tired from Titan and stuff like that. Because at first, I think Hope asked her something. And, like, are you okay? I guess she must have gave a certain look in the face. And Ben was just like, shut the fuck up. Because I think he thinks at this point that Sierra is just going to sit there and spill the beans about Gabby being kidnapped, but she doesn't. And, he goes to work, and then she questions Sierra some more, talking about you're hiding something. And, Sierra just kind of just like, hey, listen, I'm fine. It's just work. I'm tired or whatever. I'm stressed and wedding or whatever. So Hope decides to drop it. They hug, and I think they go to separate ways. Let's talk about Jake. I was gonna call him Ben. For whatever reason, if I do that, I apologize. I always call Ben Jake and Jake Ben. At times I actually want to call him fucking Johnny Zakara. So, patience with me if you please. So Jake is in the garage or whatever, and Will and Sunny walk in. Sunny is the dark hair one. So they're listening to their question, and Jake about Gabby or whatever. Hey, have you seen Gabby or whatever? The last place she was gonna check was over here. And Jake is like, nope, I haven't seen her or whatever. And they bounce around or whatever for a little bit. Jake says something that's kind of out of line as far as calling her a crazy B word or whatever. And Will is like, oh, listen, don't talk about mother, the child of my mother or something like that, or the mother of my child or whatever. It's like, don't sit there and talk to her about it like that. And pretty much Will and Sunny are not convinced that Jake doesn't know more than what he's talking about, than what he's saying, because he's like, hey, I haven't seen her, whatever, and I don't know where she's at. She's crazy. I want her to leave me the hell alone. And I think Will is just like, all right, so why don't we just call the cops and we could just take it from there. And at first Ben is like, no. At first Jake is like, no, don't do that. And Will is like, why not? And then Jake is like, well, listen, isn't Gabby on parole? Breaking and entering is probably not a good thing for her, so we should not call the cops for her sake. So they're kind of at a stalemate. And one of them, I think it was Will. Will was like, so why don't we just take a look around? And if we don't find any trace of her, we'll just be on our way. And Jake doesn't really say anything. He just kind of just like squirms around a little bit. He honestly tells you if he was squirming around a lot. Every time he kept sitting there lying, Will was like, listen, I'm a reporter. And I can tell when somebody's lying. So he was doing a lot of that. And Jake was like, fine, look around. And I'm just like, whoa, hold on. Why would you tell them it's okay for them to look around? What if they actually find something? What if they find a dark hair of Gabby, Like, that's not gonna end well. I didn't understand why he was okay to, like, agreeing to search. Like, he already had them at a stalemate by Snicker saying, hey, if you call the cops, it's not gonna look good for Gabby. He had them at a stalemate. There was no reason to sit there and allow them to take a look around. Anyway, Ben walks in, and Will is like, hey, listen, we hadn't heard from Gabby, and we think that she might have been here at some point. And your man over there, is acting a little kind of squirrely. So we want to kind of take a look. and see if everything's if everything's good. Have you heard from Gabby? And so while they're sitting there looking at Ben, Jake is in the background like, nah. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, he doesn't know what to say, you know? Like he's gonna actually sit there and spill the beans. I don't get that. Anyway, that's pretty much where that scene ended off. Let's talk a little bit about Marlena. Yeah, I actually think I said her name right. Marlena Bella, which is Claire's mom. By the way, on a side note, so Claire Ciara is Claire's aunt. Is that right? I know that's right, but they don't look like that. They don't look like that much of a difference in age. So I don't understand how she. Every time that Claire talks about Ciara being her aunt, I'm just like, really? I don't know. Maybe I have a different version in my head. Whenever I sit there and think about an aunt or an uncle, I think of somebody being like at least 10, 15 years older than them. But that's just me. Anyway, what the hell? So yeah, Marlene is talking to Claire's mom, John, and you know she's very back and forth, and this is the thing that just kind of bothered me a little bit, because Bella is pretty much like, hey, listen, you know, I heard that Claire wants to be released soon. She seems like she's ready. We're just waiting for your okay. We're just waiting for your stamp of approval. So do we have your stamp of approval? And Marlene does this back and forth thing where it's like, well, she seemed like she's ready. The doctor said that she's all good, but you know, we don't want any setbacks and stuff like that. And you know, we don't want her to be set back even further, and I just don't know. And I'm just like, will you just make up your mind? And that's the thing. The episode before, she seemed like, you know, she was doing that before, and then she seemed like she was fine with Claire being released. Okay, cool. We're good to go. And then today, it's like, we're like, oh, I don't know, because, you know, setbacks and stuff like that. And then she does this thing that just kind of really irritated me. She basically said that if Claire isn't released, then that can cause her to have a setback, because then she'll just give up and withdraw, and you know, she won't make any progress. And I'm sitting there thinking, so pretty much what you're just sitting there saying to her, this frantic mother, somewhat frantic, is that if she's released and she focuses on the wrong things, she can have a setback. If we keep her in the hospital, then she can get frustrated and give up and start to regress and have a setback there. What the are you serious? See, that's the thing that I was just like, okay. I was just like, so can you just pick a side to go on? Because, you know, she said she was like, well, the mother kind of pissed me off a little bit because, you know, she was sitting there talking about Ben's case and stuff like that, and she was like, you know, maybe she could be more like a Ben's case, you know, and Bella was like, oh, you mean that town pariah? And I'm like, technically, your daughter, when she gets out, she's gonna be a town pariah, because you know she tried to burn down a place and kill someone. But you want to sit there and start throwing stones? Are you kidding me right now? So she kind of fucking annoyed me a little bit. In the end, she pretty much just reassured her by saying, hey, I'm gonna let her out and we're gonna just, you know, monitor her and go from there. And then when the parents left, she was like, oh, it's fine because, you know, they'll go back to Hong Kong. Apparently that's where they were staying. That's where they live at, Hong Kong. Now, Claire doesn't know that. Claire does not know that when she gets released, that she's, you know, gonna be going back to Hong Kong. And she has a talk with Gwen, by the way. I like her. I like her British accent. Anyway, they go back and forth, and it's really weird. And at one point, Claire's like, "Oh, don't tell my secret and stuff like that. Don't tell people that I know about the wedding and stuff like that." and da 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 da. And then she starts yelling and screaming, and she's like, "Oh well, I'm not crazy. I'm not gonna go back in it. I'm not crazy." And then she starts yelling, and Gwen is like, "Well, here's the thing. You're giving me this vibe like you're crazy right now, and you're saying you're not crazy, but I'm kind of finding it kind of hard to believe." And I started laughing because I'm like, you don't sit there and say, "I'm not crazy," and start yelling in someone's face about how you're not crazy, because, well, that just makes you sound more fucking crazy. And then Gwen gets into her backstory about how she's hiding out from her boyfriend, or her ex-boyfriend or whatever, and they got into a fight, and she wanted to get back at him. And I was like, you know, you're pretty, and I do like your accent, but I'm not really a fan of pettiness, because they got into an argument, and pretty much he was like, "Oh, well, I want to make him suffer, so I stole something of his, and now he keeps trying to stalk me to get it back." I'm like, really? Okay, sweetheart, sure. He's stalking you. You got something of his, but he's stalking you to try to get it. Okay, whatever. So yeah, she pretty much tells Claire her secret or whatever, and they do a pinky swear. I'm not even joking. They do a pinky swear and sit there and say, "You don't tell my secret, I don't tell your secret." And then Gwen leaves. Her parents come in, Sean and Bella, and they're like, "Good news, you're gonna be released and you're gonna be coming back with us to Hong Kong." And Claire was like, "I'm sorry, what?" I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think that they lived in Hong Kong, and when they said, "Oh, it's fine," because she's gonna be going back to Hong Kong anyway. When Marlena said that, I was like, I don't think that Claire Bear knows that. And so when they said that to her, she was like, "I'm sorry, what?" She was like, No. I'm not going back to Hong Kong." I was like, "You didn't bother to tell her?" Okay. Alright, well, good luck sorting all of that out. Claire Bear. Oh, let me pause it for a second. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for this recap. You know, I honestly tell you the truth, I decided to call it a recap because I'm pretty much just kind of recapping people on what happened today. I'm not reviewing it. Yeah. So I'm just gonna put recap in my titles from now on going forward. Because I kept trying to decide between review and recap, and I'm still, even though I've been doing this for a while, I'm still kind of new to this whole YouTube thing. So again, patience. I appreciate your patience. And yeah, so this was kind of a good episode with Claire. Honestly, to tell you the truth, she's not okay. I think that's pretty obvious to everyone. She tried to burn down a building and try to burn down her family members. So she is so not okay. I enjoyed that. Ciara to me just seems really, I don't know. She just seems like somebody I would just get annoyed with dating after a while. Like, she's just very, I don't know. It's something about her that she looks hot, but she just turns me off the minute she starts talking, because it's just like, your personality is just, no. Just, no. Anyway, that's gonna do it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the thumbs up. It really does help. Also, by the way, quick note. Tomorrow's episode is gonna be a little bit late because I'm gonna be getting out of work around 5. So, between that, cooking, it may be a little bit late, but I'll try not to put it out too late. I'm not going to sit there and give a promise of a time. 1 second. Anyway, I'm not gonna give a timeout when I think that the recap is gonna come out, but I'm gonna do my best to sit there and try to make sure it's not out too late. And yeah, usually, and the crazy thing is, usually I'll sit there and say, well, my review, my recap is gonna be kind of late, so I head over to Brock TV. because he does great reviews and recaps and stuff like that. And I would sit there, and I agree that I would still sit there and recommend him, but I haven't seen him post a lot of stuff on Days of Our Lives, and I know that was a show that he was watching. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. When I looked, I didn't see anything new. I saw a review for One Life to Live, so I mean, like retrospect review. So I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah. Thank you for your patience. Be well, be safe. Also, anybody that is a fan of General Hospital, I'm gonna sit there and try to look and see when they're gonna start like shooting again, because I want to start watching that again too. And I'm still be trying to do this and that, so that's gonna be a little kind of crazy, but it should be fun. Because I enjoy doing this anyway. But if anybody knows any info on GH as far as when they may start coming back, please let me know. Anyway, be safe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next recap.